Asevele bumbene insimbi yesithupha nalomhla ekseni tinsuku etingamashumi lamabili nesikhombisa inyanga ya September inyanga yenyoni bongosi sibuka kona ukuthi ke siyayiphetha kule mphela sonto sithi sicala liviki lelisha nje empeleni evikini lelitako sidabe sesingene kuyo inyanga ya October kukhumbuta nje ukuthi kuleli viki leli lesilephethako asilephethi nje lide sikhulumisa indzaba tentutfuko leti nenganta ukhumbula ukuthi ngemsombuluko ngizathele emsado yetemidlalo Fabrice Msonera yayihleli la kuhleli khona lungelele laceleni kwami la ade katona indzaba tetemidlalo lesibuya kuto ke kule mphela sonto Lulu ngithemba lo ukuthi utawukhumbula lo ukuthi nasicocisana na Fabrice ikakhulu indzaba letinengi labetitsinza ngitole ukuthi leli gate lonyaka ayikacali ngaleli zinga labeligatsile kodwa at the same time we appreciate lo ukuthi emacembu cishe onkana akhombisa ukuthi misela kungako nje utawunaka lo ukuthi ngathi linye empeleni leliwine onke ema games alo. I'm not too sure, I stand to be corrected there, but it looks like the competition is very stiff. Outside of that, we went to Tuesday again. On Tuesday sibukele indzaba yentuthuko lemcwa kakhulu temalangeni noma ke asithi temahlubi magama akhe omabili uchumanisa luhlangothi lwe SOS Children's Villages lapha ekhaya uteke yona indzaba ye foster care campaign labayichubane lo office leliphini la mvunankhulu uqinisekisa ukuthi bantwana bemaswati labete batali noma ke labete luphahla noma ke kunakekeleka maswati ayafundzisana ukuthi singabambisana silive sibafukamele njengoba ke bantwana banguye umliba loya embili kumsebenzi ke lo mhle kakhulu nawo lona lochutshwa ngilo lo office leliphini landvunankulu babambisene nayo SOS Children's Villages sesethembako ukuthi sive semaswati sitawusukumela etulu ngekuthakasa ke nangekuthi nje vele nangemambala sitabona abantwana siyakhona ke lapho nekufeza imigomo yamhlaba yetentutfuko le Kusile ma sustainable development goals nanayo legcizelelako ukuthi silive asibe sonke singilaba phephile sisakhula futhi sonke siyadeserve ama basic rights nje ekuthenini sibe nayo i-healthcare sibe nayo i-parental guidance sibe nayo the basic needs like food tonke nje leto tinto letitsingekako umuntu asakhula sibe seke siyabuya nangelesithathu sabanabo labachama itiko letempilo netiko letekulima ngemsebenzi laba uchuba as a multi-sectoral approach umsebenzi ke lona wekuthi kuncishiswe lizinga lemarabi noma ke butsatsha ekuthenini ke tilwane ikakhulu tinja nemakati lokuthi tilwane leti domestic nasitifuya tingasitheleli ibutsatsha sitawukhumbula lo ukuthi kulama statistics labasipha wona sakwethabela kakhulu ukufundza ukuthi kusukela ngeminyaka wa 2012 kubebede bantfu labasishiyako emhlabeni ngaso ke sizatfu sebutsatsha noma butsatsha noma ke emarabi benta ngemsebenzini lomhle kakhulu sithembe ukuthi amaswati enanyalo ke basachuba wona lo msebenzi lo atawuchubeka ababambisa kanti ke itolo nakongolesine umhleli editor in chief we newsroom ye Eswatini TV John Tsepo Mlelekenge enhloko dolobha eMelika eNew York la khona alandzela i-delegation yelive lakangwane lechutshwa ke nguye ndvunankulu welive Russell Miso Dlamini takhumbula ukuthi ke kulelo bandla lahamba nalo ikhona indvuna yetekwatisa imhlonishwa imphunga Savannah Mazia nemhlonishwa imphunga Pholile Shakhantu welitiko ke la foreign affairs nanabo labasi bukela nje letinye tindzaba tekuthuthukisa live lakangwane from the foreign affairs perspective ikhona indzaba tabo climate change netindzaba nje ukuthi vele silive lakangwane nekubambisana labanye emave sichubeka kanjani ekubambisana kulwa with all these global challenges that continue to engulf and confront the world. Savannah Mazia ke naye imphunga uyayiteka indzaba ekuthuthukisa tekwatisa lapha even lakangwane the digital divide lafuna ukuthi siyibridge ku connector 5G lapha angwane nekufaka ifiber ekuthenini sikhone ukuchumana melula indzaba yegovernment in your hand initiative nana seloku uyayimarketa emaveni emhlaba ekuthenini sibambiseke sa implementa kumikisa ema services kubantfu njengokusho ke kwawo umgomo wetinkhundla system bongosi lomhla singena kungilesihlanu siyitabana babachama khona lapha ehlangothini balawula ukuchumana iEscom Mxolisi Dlamini utawusijoyina he is the cyber security officer kukhulumisa i-cyber security awareness month umsebenzi omkhulu kakhulu lona eveni lakangwane utasitshela ke imali sesitiluzile through bona bo cyber crime ukuthi vele kubungoti kangakanani kubantu babethu njengoba ke nanathi sesibuka ukuthi sitawuba nebantwana kutsemadvute nje encenye inkosi naye isigcinile in the next 8 years maybe ngashumi nakubili tawuba naye wakakhe sethembe ukuthi inkosi itasibusisa kulolu hlakasi otherwise bongosi it's a good morning vuka nathi nalomhla ekseni hlelo litaba mnanzi impela
yeah sisabuka nje leto tindzaba lethamba embili kuleli viki sifisa. So I think it was a big week for bamfu laba khubadeke ngekungeva indlebeni njoba ngamsombuluko bebagubha International Day of Sign Languages sibe nabo nje labasuka ehhovisini ilayo inhlangano yebamfu laba khubadekile ngekungeva indlebeni with Executive Director Makosini Makhubo waveta tinkinga letiningi labasulo bahlangabetana nato etikolweni labahlangabetana nato basayedibhedlela labahlangabetana nato nje basahamba khona lapha emadolobheni wathi ke kopha kukhona uhulumende la kwendako ukuzama ukubalekelela ukubasita bacelelo ukuthi sive sibabambisana ngona ukuthi abeva indlebeni but ikhanza sabashayiswa imoto ngona ukuthi imoto noma ke bashayeli betimoto bayahutha bangabeva siphinze kusakhulumisana nebaka health nakhona sibakhulumisa nje ngetindzaba tetempilo ukuthi ngabe bamfu labakhubateke ngeve indlebeni do they have proper health access to health services nabo ke basivetele timpawu ukuthi umphana lo ngathi ukhubateke ngekungeva indlebeni umbona kanjani nokuthi yini kumele ukuthi uyinakisise kahle ongumdala umphana nasakhula satekiteka ke netindzaba ukuthi ingabe vele mhlambe ikhona invelele progress lapha evene ngato tindzaba tebantu labakhubateke ngekungeva indlebeni sibakhulumisile ke nabaka Eswatini National Council of Arts and Culture kutaba ke kunema regional awards bahlabeleli lapha evene artists umsebenzi kelona notawubanjwa nga 14 December finals atawubanjwa 14 December kepha wona ke regionals atawubanjwa kusukela ngenyanga yemphala sikhulumisene naye Stanley Dlamini lo ngumphathi wayo inhlangano lobuke amakhono lapha eveni waveda ukuthi lithatha salisetulu intshisekelo yeningi kubahlabeleli belive futhi bayakhula njalo ngeminyaka waveda ke ukuthi indzaba labayibonako nje this year indzaba ukuthi ama artists lamanengi ayavela ayafuna nawo ukubona ukuthi akhona futhi anamakhono lasetulu kakhulu ke phela namhlanje kungilesihlanu sibhekile ukuthi sikhulumisane nemphathi welibandla Eswatini Tourism Authority njengoba kulilanga lelikhulu le tourism sector njengoba umhlaba wonke ukubha iWorld Tourism Day sifuna ukuxoxisana naye nje ukuthi ingabe ngitiphe imvo lesitendako selive leSwatini kukhangisa ngelive leSwatini bakumle ukuthi 2019 the Lonely Planet yarenka eSwatini as one of the top 5 countries to visit. So achievement lengikhulu kade kakhulu lesifuna kuvavusa ukuthi yini letinye timvo labatendako initiatives laba wendako kuzama ukukhangisa ngelive dikhona invele tindzawo letinye labatingetako tekungcibeleka domestic tourism status domestic tourism phayiveni sithini we do hope ukuthi uyajoyina lo mhla ekseni also sabe sikhulumisane nabaka TV license so lesisho njalo sithi bhadala umthelo wabomabona kuze njengoba deadline sevele semnyango 31st December ye deadline with only 180 emalangeni ungaphuma kuleti ndleko leto Phumelele Dlamini advocacy officer ka TV license wojoyina lo mhla ekseni ungayenzawo.
Yeah, otherwise some of maybe we want to recap as well some of the top stories leswabonile kuleli viki utawukhumbula ukuthi litiko letempilo litfole ama ambulance la balelwa kula siphohlongo from libhange lakamhlaba iWorld Bank siyakwethabela lokho futhi sikushayela tandla kukhombisa again budlelwane live la kangwane lelichubeka liba nabone tinhlangano kwetemhlaba kanye nje nalamanye emave emhlaba kuthuthukisa live la kangwane because at that very same breath on the sports side sawukhumbula ukuthi Yakubu former Everton player beka lapha ekhaya nanaye lo fike washiya what you could see as a little investment in $5,000 but perhaps when you convert it to our emalangeni that is an equivalent of 100,000 emalangeni I believe which is a great investment for someone who was just here to just look at the current state of affairs of intuthuko yetemidlalo. We came through Imajaha Foundation siyafuna nje kukhumbulana lokho ukuthi perhaps on a sad note encenye indzaba lulule sitayikhulumisa ngemsombuluko nasithola weekend police report from Pico we are seeing this growth an alarming frightening rate ukuthi emaphoyisa sekathatha impilo tawo umkhuba lona lesithi sitawuthandazela kakhulu thina lesithandazako tsembe ukuthi indvo letawuba indvo yayitolo. Outside of that yeah we have seen quite some interesting stories this week in terms of ukuthuthuka kwelive la kangwane and we are hopeful ukuthi sisatawucala lelinye liviki empela nje sakuphela sonto taba kunengi lokutawuba kuhle ngelive la kangwane nekuthuthuka kwalo.
Yeah, kunjalo mbukeli don't go anywhere hlala nathi it's 9 minutes after 6 Dr. Selkef nasibuya sibuka tindzaba tethu futhi aqala.
Next on Gospel Impact.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Wycliffe lights up the stage with
Thy
his
will
music
be
ministry.
done on earth as it is in heaven.
And Zanele Pearl takes us to the throne of grace through worship.
Oh, Khalil, umsebenzi uzakufeza empilweni yami hayi nomusathani.
It's a holy vibe this Sunday, 5 p.m. on Gospel Impact, only on Eswatini TV.
Ngiyamethembo wafe Calvary ngoba kasoze
Nebengwazi emahlokohla siphindze sinamukele lihlelweni Kusile Breakfast Show hlelo lwangalesihlanu sephetha nje liviki siyidawude ethabela indzaba nalomhla ekuseni na indzaba yecala indlovukazi Mhlekazi isuke kuleli yalibhekisa eveni le-United Arab Emirates kanti ke indlovu yemhlaba isuke lesikhumulweni setindiza iKing Mswati III International Airport isuke ke ngalesithathu eNzambama.
Sive semaswati siphume ngetinkhanyi tawuvalelisa indlovukazi Mhlekazi esikhumulweni setindiza iKing Mswati III International Airport. Indlovu yemhlaba isukele esikhumulweni setindiza yalibhekisa eveni le-United Arab Emirates. Live le-United Arab Emirates lingulelinye lemave lanebuhlobo lobucinile nelive leSwatini. Lamave abambisana kulokuningi ikakhulukati uhlangothini lwetentuthuko. Lebe bakhona esikhumulweni setindiza kutawuvalelisa Mhlekazi bekubomake emakhosikazi sigodlo losabambe isikhundla sekuba ngundvunankulu bobabetukhulu emabandla ekweluleka netindvuna tembuso. Etintsabeni kubika Pholile Maziya anazweli masuku esikhumulweni setindiza iKing Mswati III International Airport.
Azike indlovukazi Mhlekazi ibe seseyafika khona eveni le-United Arab Emirates lokhu-ke kulandzela ukuthi indlovu yemhlaba isuke kuleli ilibhekise kulela live ngalesithathu kusihlwa.
Nangemambala tilokotho temaswanti letinhle tekufisela indlovu yemhlaba luhambo loluhle tibiyele tayisingatha indlovu yemhlaba lekutsite ngalesine ekuseni uma seyigabence insimbi yesikhombisa sikhatsi sase-United Arab Emirates kwavela kwaba kuhle edolobheni i-Abu Dhabi. Ingane kunyathele indlovu yemhlaba kwanyathela lomangceveza akhweshe wabhuza. Indlovu yemhlaba yaqala luhambo lwayo lolutawuba nesandla lesibandi ekuthuthukeni kwebuhlobo lobuhle lobukhona emkhathisini webukhosi belive leSwatini nebukhosi be-United Arab Emirates kanye njengenebuhlobo balamave lamabili. Kutsite ngesikhathi ifika esikhumulweni setindiza iZayed International Airport indlovu yemhlaba yatfola bukhosi be-United Arab Emirates buvule tandla kuyemukela ngalokukhetsekile yamukelwa nangilonxusele elive leSwatini e-United Arab Emirates Ambassador Sifiso Dlamini. Ebandleni lelisingethe indlovu yemhlaba kunebantu abenkhosi lekungumvane nkosi Hlangabeza nemvane nkosi Thanzile kanti kuphindze kube nesikhulu Zwide Nxumalo nelesekela lalobukela ihhovisi lesilo Mbongeni Simelane nendvuna yetiko letetindlu nekuthuthukiswa kwamadolobha umhlonishwa Apollo Maphalala. Lidolobha i-Abu Dhabi linemnotho loqinile nalosimeme lomeka u-$249 billion dollars eMelika. Leli dolobha lelinebantu labangetulu kwesigidi likhicita ingcenye lengu-68% yemnotho welive le-United Arab Emirates. Amakhosi ahamba embili ekuqhubeni umgomo welive leSwatini wokwenzela lwati kumave lathuthukile kude nalo live lihlangabetane nayo yonke imigomo yalo yentuthuko. Lo hambo lwendlovu yemhlaba litawuvusetela ligqozi lokubambisana kwelive leSwatini nalo live le-United Arab Emirates etinhlangothini letahlukahlukene. Lobeka kwethu indzabeni ngisandile Makhanye edolobheni e-Abu Dhabi eveni le-United Arab Emirates.
Indvuna yelitiko letempilo umhlonishwa Mduduzi Mathebula uthi lusito lwemali loluqhamuka ka-Global Fund lufaka sandla lesibandi ekubambiseni uhulumende welive laKangwane ekutheni yakhona ukuthuthukisa tetempilo. Indvuna beyikhuluma ngesikhathi i-Global Fund yetfula sigaba sesikhombisa selusito lwemali lokubheke ukuthi-ke lwethulwe ngalokusemthethweni ngilosabambe kuba ngundvunankulu imphunga Kusile Dladla.
On behalf of those benefiting from these initiatives, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for the transformative impact that the Global Fund has had on our health services in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Through the support from the Global Fund, the access to HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria services has been greatly improved and brought within reach of every Eswatini. This support has not only addressed immediate health needs, but has also laid the groundwork for systematic improvements in primary, secondary, and tertiary healthcare that will benefit generations to come. Through this generous funding, the Global Fund has supported a range of vital programs that have fortified our health systems. The establishment and institutionalization of HIV testing services and provision of antiretroviral therapy for people with HIV has been a lifesaver for countless individuals. This program has ensured that thousands can access effective treatment, allowing them to live healthier lives while also reducing the transmission of the virus. Apart from treatment, we have been provided access to a variety of HIV prevention technologies that has reduced exposure to new HIV infections.
Kunesidingo sekubambisana kwahulumende kanye netikolo kwanzisa-ke lwati ngetindzaba tekuhlukubetana etinkhundleni tekuchumana lokwatiwa ngesingisi-ke ngekuthi cyberbullying. Lokhu kuvetwe ngithishela nhloko wesikolo lesiphakeme sase-St. Teresa ngesikhathi litiko letekwatisa lifundzisa abafundzi balesikolo ngebungoti bayo i-cyberbullying.
Esikwendako kufundisa abantwana bethu ngalobungoti be-cyberbullying ngoba ayikho indawo landzela ukuthi kulamalanga laphelile ngabo-July sibe ne-case lemadima lapho khona kubonakala abantwana bethu bahlukubetana tindlela tangasense kwanza umhlaba wonke. So kube kulimata sikolo engqondweni nasemoyeni saphazamiseka sisonke. Noko-ke sesizama kulungisa lokho ukuthi abantwana sibafundise babe nalo lwati lolufanele lokuthi bala sikoleni kubhekeke ukuthi bona baphathe njani basa-interactor bodvana. Tinto letihambisana nokuthi bathebulane titfombe bese bathumela emoyeni abakugweme ngoba kuyabalimata nanabo labo la ukhanza bathebulekile. So sikholelwa ekuthenini naso sibafundisile loko batakuvimba kwesikwendeke bakwadi ukuthi bende lokho lokubhekekile as per umthetho wesikolo. Lobungoti noma-ke lamacala ale-cyberbullying maningi kakhulu sekuthi lamaningi awakasiwo la reportwako. Nabothishela le process basho ubedeka ngoba uthishela afundisa lapho athethe lesithombe bese ukhanza sekubo-WhatsApp ngaphandle kwemvumo yakhe. So-ke sizama-ke ukuxwayisa labantwana ukuthi lokhu kucala lobunengoti lokungihamba ngokuthi umntwana ngalelinye ilanga mhlawumbe atikhanze asaboshiwe.
Lo chumanisa litiko letekwatisa nesive kukunkambule uthi leli tiko libambisene nemlawuli wetekuchumana kanye ne-UNESCO batawucinisa-ke tinhlelo tekwanzisa lwati nge-cyberbullying etikolweni.
Sibukile ukuthi litiko alisukume libambisane naye umlawuli wetekuchumana likhulumise indzaba ye-cybercrime nje in general. Ikakhulu i-cyberbullying lesiyibonako ukuthi iyanza kulamalanga. Litiko-ke litawube lihamba naye Eswatini Communications nalamanye ama-partners ethu lokufaka yena UNESCO, naye lose ashade nalo litiko naye umlawuli kwekuthi sizame kokuthi sishumayele ivangeli kokuthi ngabe insha ikakhulu bantfu bethu laba lapha esikolweni bangaphepha kanjani basasebenzisa tona leti tekuchumana kanye nako kugwema nje kwekuthi batikhanze sebente bucala basasebenzisa tona letinkhundla tekuchumana. Sibukile nekokuthi kuchubeka siya embili ingabe vele singabambisana kanjani netikolwa sifaka ekhatsi bothishela sifaka ekhatsi batali kwekuthi mhlawumbe sigcine siphuma nalo lihlaka lesingathi ma-guidelines kokuthi ingabe vele bangatisebenzisa kanjani letekuchumana bantfwana abasachuba tifundvo tabo etikolweni.
Bafundisi bemabandla enkholo esifundzeni saseshiselweni bathi kungakhuliseki kahle kanye-ke nekungatfoli litfuba lekukhamelwa ngempilo yemshado kubonakala-ke kungiletinye tetizatfu letenta ukuthi bantfu bahlukumetane. Labaholi bemabandla bathi akube yinsaya yemabandla onke ekuthenini bantfu batfola teluleko ngalokwenetisako bangakathathani.
Umbiko lovisi leliphilandvunankulu ekuhlukubetana ngebulili wemnyaka lophelile uyaveta ukuthi 90% wamacala ekuhlukubetana ngebulili endeka emakhaya. Sikhulumisene nebaholi bemabandla enkolo lahlukene eshiselweni labaphawula ngekuthi yini lebangela ukuthi bantfu ekhaya bagcine bahlukubetana nekwekuthi bantfu bangaphilisana njani ngekuthula emakhaya.
Hosea chapter 6 uyayiveta lokho ukuthi bantfu bami bayabhubha ngenxa yeswela lwati lokuhlukumetana lokungaka ikakhulu la emishadweni ibangwa i-foundation yaloyo mshado. Umshado nasibuka kahle usimiso saNkulunkulu into le designwe nguNkulunkulu nabatawuthathana labantu bekufanele ukuthi libandla lisale likubukisisa lapha ekuqaleni labasangena lokuthi le counseling yenteka kahle yini ngoba funa simfaka lo muntu lapha emshadweni nje le ndlela lakhule ngayo uhlukumetekile so ungena nje la unalesithombe salemuva ukuthi mina ngahlukumeza utokhipha sibhongo la safikele khona.
Bantu nyalo sebathanza tinto kunokuthi bathanzane senginolithando lokuthi uphetheni udanani seside lamathuba ekuthi sibe nelisango neliguma lapho bafundziseka khona abantu itolo bebafundziseka abantu bayalwe bobabe lomncane bakuyale bafoni labadala bakuyale na sisi bamiyale ekhaya bomake nabageza teacher noma bentani bakhona ukuthi bayalane bafundzisane ukuthi kutiphatha kanti ngetulu kwekufundisana ngekukhuluma bebayibona lento ngoba bekuhlalwa kanye akhona make ngifunza kuye nangabe ngiyintombazana nabe ngilija ngifunze kuye baba.
Thina singabantu asisenakho ukuhloniphana. Kukho le ndaba phaya eBhayibhelini of a blind man eyathi ma uYesu ezama ukuthi ayiphuluse ibone. And the question that was asked kuba ubona and uthi yena ndibona abantu kungathi yihlahla. We no longer see people as the image of God. Kodwa sibona abantu as objects. And the moment abantu baba ngama-objects, i-object siyakwazi ukuba we can abuse it ngendlela esiyi-abuse ngayo. Uma thina siyisizwe singaqala sibone ukuba sonke siyisizwe saseswatini singabantu abamnyama senziwe ngomfanekiso kaNkulunkulu siqale lento yokuba we respect each other regardless of ukuba umuntu unjani or uyini.
Umbiko wenhlangano lelwa nekuhlukubetana ngebulili iswaga wenyanga yaphimbithwane kuya ngenyanga yenhlaba kulomnyaka ukhomba ukuthi bantfu labashayela ucingo babeka kuhlukunyetwa 66% wabo ngulabahlukunyetwa emoyeni. Thando kuhle Mdluli, Endzabeni yeSwatini TV, Inhlangano.
Phethe ngikubuka nathi temidlalo indvuna yetemidlalo umhlonishwa Bongani Nzima sawudumise-ke mengameli wenhlangano yema-Commonwealth Games Federation kanye-ke nelibandla lakhe nje ekutheneni baphakamise umjeka welive leSwatini ngekubamba umhlangano walenhlangano kuleli ngalesihlanu kuleli viki. Indvuna ithi lokhu kutawudlala inzima lebandi ekuthuthukiseni itemidlalo kuleli.
Le bandla le-Commonwealth Games Federation leliholwa ngumengameli Christian Kins lithola lithuba ngalesibili ekuvusela indvuna yetemidlalo umhlonishwa Bongani Nzima emahhovisini akhe. Umhlonishwa Bongani Nzima udumise leli bandla ngekukhanza kumcuwa ukuthi lingakhetha kubamba umhlangano walo wekucala eveni leSwatini lokutabe kwenteka kwekucala ukuthi babambe umhlangano walolu hlobo eveni katini le-Afrika.
This is your home away from home. So you will always be welcome to Eswatini. Whenever you want to have any event with us, I believe the CEO and the board from our side is ready to welcome you. And also the ministry and the government of the country is really happy to receive you at any particular time.
Christian Kins uvetile ukuthi lolu hambo lwabo kukhona imihlangano labatayibamba nenhlangano yemidlalo nema-Commonwealth Games kanye nale yama-Olympics kuleli.
Africa has not hosted a Commonwealth Games or a Youth Games. And I see our Commonwealth sport events as all coming together as one group of events. And we have, whether it's hosting one of our programs in the country, bringing delegates in from around Africa, around the world, such as GAPS, which is our disability inclusion program, or a board meeting like we're having here. And then we move into some of the larger events, which bring sporting people, bring athletes together, such as the Youth Games or the Main Games.
Ibandla leliholwa nguye mengameli Jenkins kubheka ukuthi libamba umhlangano walo phecelezi executive board meeting alesihlanu kuleli viki. Liviki lomsakazi eSwatini TV temidlalo ngilinda Dlamini kanti umbiko uhlanganiswa nguFabrice Msonera eMbabane.
Sibeke lapho-ke tindzaba siswati sibahlole emakethe sitawubuya masinyane sichubeke nelihlelo.
On this week's episode of Young Climber, we are joined by beautiful artist, actress, and most importantly, businesswoman. Mandisa Mamba joins us to talk about how she debuted on Eswatini's #1 film, Bagangwane.
And then now when you officially got the role, you know, you were within. Can you tell us, did you know from the onset when you auditioned, Gutsi, you'll be playing this specific character, or they just gave you a script?
No.
And then, of course, when you got it, you then found out that you were playing Queen Kusile.
Yeah. How did you prepare yourself, or how did you become her, or how did you plan on portraying her, most importantly?
So firstly, I didn't know that I was going to be, you know, casted for a big role.
Yeah.
You know, but once I got the news, I was so happy. I remember I got it via phone call, and they were telling me, "Oh, you got a lead role, and you're going to be playing the Queen." I was like, what?
Yeah.
No, little me? No way. And I was just very excited about it, and preparing for it, I did a lot of research, also borrowing from neighboring countries.
Join myself, Tabelo Dlamini, and Eswatini's greatest as we continue to unwrap beautiful stories. That is at 6:30 every Tuesday.
Asambege, the show that pushes local celebrities out of their comfort zones and into uncharted territories. Get ready to witness the ultimate clash of skills, the battle of the unknown, and the test of celebrity mettle. Can they cook up a storm in the kitchen? Can they hit the high notes on stage? We're taking them out of their element and throwing them into the deep end. Don't miss the fun, the drama, and the surprises. Asambege.
Welcome back. Sikuvusela nawo losanzaku sivulela sobukela hlelo Kusile Breakfast Show. Today is the 27th of September. It is World Tourism Day. Mhlaba wonke ukubhale lilanga leli lokufaka ikhathi nelive leSwatini. We are now joined by the Chief Executive Officer of the Eswatini Tourism Authority, Vusi Dlamini. Sizobetela nje sifomise ukuthi thina silive leSwatini sesihambe kanganani kupromote noma to improve the tourism sector. Ngiyakhumbula ukuthi in 2019 Eswatini was ranked number 5 in the top 30 countries that need to be visited. And of course, a very good morning. Thank you for joining us, Lamhle Ekseni. It's a beautiful Friday morning. It's World Tourism Day. This is a day that is annually commemorated. Ingabavele, what practices and sustainable practices when dago silive Eswatini to ensure ukuthi tourism sector strives?
Thank you very much, Lulu. Yes, today is the World Tourism Day. Mbeleni, if you go to certain places, countries, the month of September is seen as a tourism month, and we as a country as well are commemorating this day today, and we will obviously have other activities as the weekend progresses. But yes, in Zabaye's sustainable tourism is actually very key. I think the one thing that we would want to highlight is that according to the World Tourism Organization, going into the future, there is an expectation from all tourists worldwide that when they visit certain countries, they want to see that those countries are doing things in line with the best practices in terms of sustainable tourism. Now, though, what are those things that you would expect that countries should actually focus on, including our country? I think I will not say a lot. I think there's quite a number of things, but the one key thing is relating to the environment. I think the environment is very key, that whenever tourists want to visit countries, they would want to see if those countries are doing things to protect the environment, because the environment is actually very important. And there's also issues of culture. I think in Zabai culture, it's very interesting also that as a country we are very big when it comes to that, in terms of promoting our own culture. The issue of culture is very key also from a tourism perspective, such that going into the future, country or tourists would want to, there's a promotion that tourists must go and visit countries, and they must ensure that whenever they are going there, they appreciate the culture, such that bangadikhanzi mhlawumbe going against those cultural practices. And like I said, the good thing is that as a country we are very big in that, and we are promoting the country as a royal experience. And one of the key things is that we are very rich from a cultural perspective as a country. There's also the issue of economy, Lulu. I think that one is very important as well, because you do want to see tourists coming into the country, not just to visit, but to contribute to the economy, particularly communities that they are going to visit. So you would want them to visit those communities and visit those countries, visit the country, visit the communities, not just for the sake of visiting and appreciating how beautiful the countryside is, for instance, but also to contribute to the communities from an economic perspective, buying their products. So that is why in terms of communities, we want to encourage them that they should work on having those products that tourists can actually contribute to through buying.
Yeah. So you're saying, of course, it's also important that Eswatini also invest in sustainable infrastructure, seeing that we receive international tourists and local tourists. How important is it that we also invest in sustainable infrastructure?
It is important. I think sustainable infrastructure is very broad. Again, you would want to have proper roads. Obviously, you would want so that our tourists are able to go to different places, but also you want to bring into that the issue of eco tourism, in a way, eco infrastructure. That is infrastructure that that is very important for us as a country to invest in those kind of facilities or establishments. The type of energy that we are actually using is also very important, that we appreciate that it is the type of energy that is not going to go against principle of the environment, principle of climate change. We need to ensure that we find ourselves investing in those things as a country, so that when our tourists come into the country, they appreciate that as well.
Yeah. So let's talk about the theme. This year's theme is tourism and peace. How do the two connect, tourism and peace, and how can we as a Maswati reflect on this theme?
If I were to ask you, Lulu, for instance, if you are deciding to visit a certain country, the one thing that you want to see is how peaceful is that country. You want to be safe, right? You want to go to a country where you know that you will not have problems. You will come back home in one piece, if I were to put it that way. So the issue of tourism and peace is very critical in that regard, because tourists would want to visit a country because they see that it is a peaceful country. They see that the country is people are actually welcoming. I think that's the one thing that we try by all means to promote as Eswatini. The fact that Maswati, they are very, very warm people. I think this is the feedback also that we are receiving from some of our tourists, particularly international, who are coming into the country. And they will say, as they live, they appreciate the fact that the country is actually very peaceful and the people are very, very warm. So to Maswati, that is what we want to emphasize, that let's continue with that spirit of warmth, because it makes it a very, very peaceful experience for our tourists as they come into the country. And once they have that experience, you will realize that they are going to share that information with other people, and likely we will have more tourists coming to the country.
Yeah, perhaps if you could give us statistics on the international visits to Eswatini. Eswatini is quite busy during August, September, because there's Umhlanga returns, there's the International Trade Fair, there's the Riders Rally. Athini ve tithi inombolo tebamfla sabangenile nje lapha Eswatini. Kumbe na ngacela nje general mabe tikhona inombolo nkosi.
Thank you very much. Maybe the stats that we have currently would be up to August, because the month of September is still ongoing. We will realize that in the month of August, like you say, we had a number of activities. We had the International Trade Fair, also attracts people from outside the country. The Swazi Rally, like you said, the Umhlanga, though extending all the way to September, but when we are counting tourists, we count them as they enter the country. So most of them would have arrived in August. So we do realize that there were quite a number of tourists that visited the country. We saw an increase of about 12.9% if we compare the same period previous year, which is 2023, comparing with 2024. We saw quite an increase of about 12.9%. But also on an overall, the one thing that we also have noted up to end of August from the beginning of the year, which is January, we have seen an increase that is remarkable of up to 14%. Our numbers are currently sitting at around 615,000. And for us, that is remarkable, particularly if we compare, considering that we're coming from an era of COVID. But the numbers that we're comparing here are comparing 2023. So for us, it's actually a remarkable increase, that 14%.
Yeah.
We are also realizing that though the numbers in terms of the number of nights that they are spending in the country is not at the level that we want to see, but we have seen some 2.5 nights on average if we are looking from the beginning of January to date.
Okay, so according to your research, I'm sure you conduct research as the authority. What are your findings on how tourists find the Kingdom of Eswatini? Because Katseni, they used to mistake us with Switzerland. We're a very small country. Labaning abasad ukuthi we exist. Ingabe nanitfola nene research in ukuthi how do they find out about Eswatini? There's a country that's called Eswatini. We have to visit there.
There's quite a number of things that we try to do. But obviously, like you're saying, Lulu, we have a challenge that we've changed the country's name from Swaziland to Eswatini. So there's still a lot of work there to do to put the country out there in the map in terms of seeing it as a country to visit and seeing it as one of the preferred destination, like our theme goes. But the campaigns that we do be it on digital space. I think you know that the digital space can actually go anywhere. We are trying by all means to get out there so that we are seen as a country. And we also do quite a number of things in terms of attending different shows, particularly the big shows where you know there will be different buyers from different countries who are going to visit our stand, and they will then include us in their itinerary so that whenever tourists want to visit the country, they can visit the country. Clearly, you'll also understand that tourists, they don't just decide today that they want to go to a certain country. So the numbers that you will be seeing this year would be numbers that are informed by activities that were probably done a year or 2 years ago. Because then a year in advance and a tourist will plan in terms of what they want to do or which countries they want to visit, and we always appreciate the fact that they will then also include the country. I think the one other thing that I would love to mention in terms of what we do or what we see is that we also have some arrangements with certain countries. For instance, we have an arrangement called Triland, where we are partnering Mozambique and Mpumalanga in South Africa. So basically what happens is that when Mozambique, they're doing whatever they are doing, they are also including Eswatini. We do the same, Mpumalanga will do the same. So that is another way in which we try to promote the country as a destination of choice. And the feedback that we are getting is that people are really appreciative of coming. Those that come to the country would share a very good experience, and they appreciate visiting the country.
CEO, I remember during COVID times we were encouraged to visit local attractions as Eswatini, and there was even a page on Facebook that was established, Vakasha Eswatini. It's just, to encourage more Eswatini Eswazi people to visit local attractions. What is the status on domestic tourism?
Domestic tourism is also one of our key strategic areas. Obviously, you will also note that domestic tourism will actually be on the up, particularly when there is it's very low from an international tourism perspective. So what we try to do is to try and encourage facilities to come up with packages that they can sell to locals. We are well aware that some of the facilities, particularly those that would be owned by state-owned entities, they will put up those packages that will encourage locals to travel. They're not at the level where we would want it to be from a domestic tourism perspective, but we are appreciating that it is one area that we need to continue to improve, so that particularly during low season, we know that Eswatini are going to take the opportunity and visit the different facilities in the same way as they did during the COVID era.
Right, just one last question before I let you go. I know that we do have community tourism here in Eswatini. Why does it matter, and how does the authority help in improving community tourism?
You spoke about the sustainable tourism. I think the one key thing that from a sustainable tourism perspective is very key is community tourism. I think it is important in the sense that when our tourists, particularly international tourists, they visit certain communities, you want them to contribute there in a certain way. We, as Eswatini Tourism Authority, our key role is to ensure that we facilitate the development of such facilities. I think there is a number of facilities that you would probably know which are community-based. I think it's very important that we appreciate them, and our role is to also ensure that we promote, whenever we are going out to promote the country as a destination, we also promote the different community-based products that we would have developed or would have worked with other partners to develop in the country, which we do have from various sides of the country, War region. We know we have them from the Lubombo region as well as Kusile region and Manzini as well.
Okay, lastly, just briefly, in course, I know that there's a commemoration today. The ministry, the authority and stakeholders is commemorating World Tourism Day. Where is the event?
We are working together with our sister organization, Eswatini National Trust Commission. There is an event that will be happening in the weekend. Today is a Friday. We commemorate International Tourism Day, but we also, as a country, on Sunday, there's going to be a walk that is going to be happening down at Mlaula. and we do encourage Amaswati to take an opportunity. Our Honorable Minister, Honorable Jane Mkonta Smelana, will also grace that event. So we encourage Amaswati to participate in that event.
All right, thanks so much for your time. Gosi, there you have it, World Tourism Day. There'll be a walk on Sunday, but for more details, do visit the Eswatini Tourism Authority social media pages. Let's take a break. Saibia Konamach.
Welcome to the ultimate guide to your weekend entertainment. Get ready to groove with us as we bring you the hottest music videos and exclusive interviews with your favorite celebrities. Experience fresh music videos from new releases, underground sensations, and emerging talent. Whether you're hip-hop, amapiano, or afro, we've got something for everyone. And if you've missed out on any of the excitement, don't worry, we've got you covered. Join us for an electrifying journey through the music scene. Relive the magic and get inspired for your next weekend adventure.
You can be stuck on you. Agusafumi, agufumi tule. Bizinyati buta, bizinyati penya, bonke kwami kyakalela.
So tune into This Week at Eswatini for a weekly dose of music, entertainment, and unforgettable experience. Get ready to groove because the weekend starts here.
You can be stuck on you. Come on, it's a simple song. Sing with me. Say, you can be stuck on you.
Asibinze sinimukele sakuvuselana olothanda kusivulela at Friday morning besividile ukuthi sizabe siteka indzaba tekubhadalwa kwemthelo wabomabona kude TV license dokumela ukuthi ke lelo visi lamametela ukuthi liniketa isikhathi labo labafisa ukubhadala tikweleti tabo until the 30th of September yaphela ke 30th September next week Monday sinaye lapha TV license advocacy officer Phumelele Dlamini siniketa sithombe nje sokuthi vele lesikhathi lesamaswata asebenzisile invele ukuthi sikhona ukubhadala tikweleti itaswa asekufusela nkosi saba ngosebe nasilomhla ekseni it's a beautiful Friday morning TV license lo siyaditeka tindzaba temthelo wabomabona kuthi which is only 3 months away from the deadline which is 31st of December kule leniency lena period lebenivulile for emaswati bayisebenzise kahle invela
sicale ngekuvusela lolu siphinza sivusele nembukeli njengaloku uyibeka lolu lokuthi sibe nalesikhathi semosa leniency period between the month of August up to mhla ka 30 September sibabonile abantu babhadala loku bese kwenda nokuthi kube nelisasasa ngalokuthi phela udawukhumbula ukuthi sibe ne competition le phele nasi se trade fair so vele bantu bedenge ngaphu nase trade fair besibabona nje babhadala babuda nalokuthi yona le leniency period noma ke lesikhathi semusa vele siphela nini so yes we may not give the figures of head right now ngalokuthi phela sisaya khona ekupheleni kwawo umusa so kona tinombolo sitibonile leti cishe tiphakaphakama
loku now phela nje next week Monday lo musa vele ku extension etaba khona noma ngabe bangancane kanganani kubuka ukuthi le deadline nayo seyifutana 31 December
aw nani lulu njengalokho besibekile sesishilo vele ukuthi inyanga yinye kusho ukuthi ke vele nakuthi nje 1 October sesiqalela ephasi vele noma angithi siyachubeka sithi no leniency isikhathi semusa siphelile leyo window seyivaliwe kusho ukuthi nje nangabe wawukakhona wena kubhadala ngoba maybe singachaza lokho ukuthi besisho kuthini isikhathi semusa besisho ukuthi asidibuka itikwelete tasemuva nangabe une outstanding TV license fees eminyakeni le yasemuva siphinze futhi nangabe bongakabhadali umthelo wakho uyakhumbula phela ukuthi kuba nale penalty ya 50% ngeminyaka noma ke even for 2024 vele i 50% penalty bese apply so kulesikhathi seleniency besithite sibulala le ukuthi awuna ubhadala ipenalty ubhadala nje umthelo wakho wa 2024 utophinza ubuye phela ukhumbule ukuthi so uphinza uyabuya ngaDecember angakashaya imhla ka31 utobhadalela umthelo wakho wa 2025.
Okay. So outside nje le leniency period liyona nje le compliance vele silokuqala umnyaka engabe nje nanibuka nje uphume inganani bambu bavela bayaconza indlela ukuthi vele umthelo siubhadalela ini.
Ileniency lulu siyayibona ikakhulu nangabe lama gadgets kungilamasha because lapho titolo tiyaba compela lokho ukuthi bawubhadale lo mthelo bangakawakhokhi ema devices abo etitolo and then sibe nabo ke lalaba renewako ngeminyaka so yes the level is there like I have said in previous interviews lokho ukuthi iyavarisha in terms of up and down ngeminyaka ngoba phela sibuka ne impact ye economy in terms of ukuthi bantu bahamba kanjani umuntu utawuthi nangabe ngiconstrained ndawuthenga singwa noma ngiyobhadala umthelo so
kumele bende le decision leyo so kunema exercise ke le exercises le nwendako sinibonile ningena niphuma emabhizinisini edengapanini ningena niphuma kumakhaya nihlola vele le compliance ukuthi bamvele bayobhadala nomthelo ngabe nisakwenda lokho nakhona indle nitfolako nansendela yomsebenzi leyo.
Sichubekile lulu siyachubeka futhi njengalokho ukuthi besiphuma singena siyile elibonjeni siyileke na ku other parts of the country sivakashela wona emakhaya sivakashela wona emabhizinisi netitolo lesikhanzile ukuthi labaningi babhadele and then depending again on the region kuthi ngiphi le region udawukhanza nje ukuthi between babane Manzini corridor inengi compliance so yehla so yakubo libonjeni kuboshiselweni seyiyaqala iyehla why because a number of them ukhanza ukuthi lama devices awo bawathenga eSouth Africa so nasiba interviewer si senda inspection sikhanza lokho ukuthi umvuta uthi hayiphela mina umthelo ngowuthelela eSouth Africa lapho ke sikukhanzile ukuthi kumcoka vele lokho ukuthi sive sisonzelele ikakhulu le ngaphandle emagcenselweni kwelidolobha ngokuthi bafundziseke ngesikhathi kukhumbuta ngesikhathi vele lokho ukuthi phela umthelo nasowuthelela nawuthi nje ukhokha endalasifani usho ukuthi wena umthelo welive unika lelinye live lokulicala kwakona lelo ngoba phela kusho ukuthi ngalana wena you are not promoting the local the national broadcaster you are not promoting local lesile kungeko lesikuphakamisako nemithelo ke ngoba phela ngilelo live line komo yakhona in terms of ema legislations akhona so ngiloko besikukhanza etitolo ke nakhona tikhona dia comply tikhona letinye ati comply lately nje nyalo siselihlelweni lapho khona labaningi etitolo are being served by bameli besteshi kokuthi uma ngabe banga declare or banga comply then le penalty itaba very stiff on them and lokunye ke lo mthetho le kushoko lapho kulabo labathengisa lama devices kuthi uma vele bachubeka ba ignore loku complya naloku submit ama-sales abo, because kuba nalama visitations on a monthly basis by the office. So nalapho iyasho le Swaziland Television Authority Act of 1983 loko kuthi i-license yaloyo muntu noma leso sitolo ingaba revoked.
Yeah. Alright, so just before I let you go nje Phumi kusikhumbuta vele ukuthi ngibude lo ukuthi njoba singena ku weekend edeadline ye Monday basengakhona ukubhadala over the weekend.
Lokumnanzi ke Lulu ngiloko ukuthi awudzingi uze ufike physically na uyobhadala. Ukhona MTN mobile money, uyakhona kwenda i-digital payment. So in your convenience, yes, uyakhona kubhadala through MTN mobile money, uyakhona nokubhadala nge-EFT, khona i-account yethu ebhange, eNetbank, noma ke naye imali. So yes, at your liberty, la ukhona la uhleti khona la usebenta khona, noma ke ukuphi eveni, akudzingeki uze uhambe ugijimele ukuthi uyofike eposini ukuthi ubhadale ngoba phela vele sibuka kuthi nayo weekend seyisemnyango.
No, ngiyavakala singakhulu Phumi. Sawuthi vele ukuthi akudzingi ukuthi vele uye physical emahhovisini akathi license kepha ungakhona kusebenzisa imali, usebenzise mobile money, ubese futhi uyifake imali ku Netbank account yakhona akathi license. Kuba kabanti ke nabe khona lokusele usengaba vakashela ekhasini labo Eswatini TV noma ke TV license utothola leto timphendvulo leto ulotifise ukudiva. Saselikhefu nasibuya sibene tindzaba sengisi.
Phela ama-culprits lentisa labantwana letika ngoba umntwana lona 11 lona 12 lona 13 lona 40 lokulala nje usangakakucabanga
nangabe kunenombolo which are so horrifying and spine chilling over a very, very short space of time. Labantwana bavikelekile yini?
Indzaba ithi bantwana solo bayakhulelwa. Then the thing is what must be done now. Ngeke sihlale mengameli sigoce tandla sithi ngoba umntwana akakafanele kulala. Sidabe siyadmislead mengameli nasiyibuka from that approach.
Ubhlungu mangabe siyiphalamende sitawuthi bampa bethu 11 12 sithakahamba ye clinic siyomfaka implant sesimnika imvume kokuthi akalale noma singaphucuka kwani Madam President simaswati
kasho isikole esincane lesa kusingaba nenombolo engaka abantwana lokusamhlanje ba pregnant abekho esikoleni kuyathusa kakhulu nasekuthiwa inombolo engaka ephuma esikoleni sisinye
lana sikhulumisa i-national policy umthetho waleli velo. I didn't take it from the back of my head.
Ukukhulula isitalithoda ngoba bantwana bawugcina bahlaba ngalomjovo bagcine bangasatali.
Umsebenzi wethu singemaswati is to protect the family and to protect the dignity of human lives. I've got so many of these kids. Labamithiswe bobabe labadzala babafakela ne-infection yale HIV. Akuboshwe bona.
Meet Tando. She's taking control of her health with the PrEP ring. The PrEP ring is a small, flexible silicone ring that you insert into your private parts once a month. It releases medication that helps prevent HIV. It's discreet, convenient, and fits seamlessly into your life. With the PrEP ring, you can reduce your risk of HIV infection and focus on what matters most. Empower yourself with the PrEP ring, your monthly shield against HIV. Worried about side effects? Most people on PrEP experience minimal side effects. Choose the PrEP ring to prevent HIV.
Welcome back at 7 o'clock. This is the second bulletin. Her Majesty the Queen Mother has left the Kingdom of Eswatini to the United Arab Emirates. Her Majesty took off at the King Mswati III International Airport.
Maswati came out in numbers to witness Her Majesty the Queen Mother take off at the King Mswati III International Airport. Her Majesty left the country through the airport for the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates is one of the countries that have strong standing bilateral relations with the Kingdom of Eswatini. Both countries cooperate in the area of development. Present at the airport to bid farewell to Her Majesty were the Makosigati to His Majesty, the royal family, the acting Prime Minister, chiefs, councils and cabinet ministers. On the news, I'm Polile Mazia with Zweli Masugu at the King Mswati III International Airport.
His Excellency Prime Minister Russell Dlamini has joined leaders of the African Union and Africa's business community at a high-level event hosted by the Global Business Africa Initiative in New York. The event, themed Unstoppable Africa, provides a platform for African leaders to exchange ideas on how to fast-track the continent's goal of being the most important driver of global business.
His Excellency Prime Minister Russell Dlamini, on the invite of the Global Africa Business Initiative in New York, joined African leaders to witness a high-level panel discussion of Africans deliberating on how Africa can take the position of being the cornerstone of the world's future. Speaking under the theme Unstoppable Africa, the solution for a global future, African Union Deputy President Amina Mohamed implored everyone to engage deeply on critical issues such as energy access and transition, business and trade, harnessing the power of Africa's young digital pioneers, the dynamic creatives in the industry, making an example of music and sports. Also speaking during the event was the chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Musa Mahamat, who praised the United Nations General Assembly on signing the Pact of the Future, which he believes will fast-track Africa's inclusive economic growth through digital transformation amongst other pillars of the Pact. Mahamat further assured everyone in the House of the commitment of the African Union to using peace and stability as a vehicle that can transform Africa to be the leading driver of global business. Mahamat highlighted that the tensions in Sudan, Ethiopia, Libya and the Sahel region are a drawback to the continent's future ambitions, before signing off by saying Africa has a 3 trillion market opportunity that needs realization. John Molelekeng for Eswatini TV News.
Her Majesty Ndlovukazi has arrived in the United Arab Emirates. This follows the Queen Mother's departure from the country on Wednesday evening.
The hundreds of Emaswati who extended well wishes to Her Majesty ahead of her trip will be pleased to know that Her Majesty has now arrived in the United Arab Emirates. Her Majesty arrived through Zayed International Airport in Abu Dhabi at 7:30 on Thursday morning. The United Arab Emirates royal family extended a hearty welcome to Her Majesty, who was also received by Eswatini Ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, His Excellency Sifiso Mlando Dlamini. The Ndlovukazi is accompanied by a delegation which comprises Their Royal Highnesses Prince Hlangabeza and Princess Tanzile, Chief Zude Nqumalo, Deputy Chief Officer in the King's Office Mbongeni Smilane, and the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development Apollo Mapalala. Abu Dhabi's gross domestic product is estimated at 249 billion United States dollars. The city, which has a population of over 1 million people, contributes 68% of the United Arab Emirates' total economy. Eswatini is eyeing collaborations with developed economies like the United Arab Emirates to make meaningful gains towards achieving first world status. On the news, I am Sandile Makanya reporting from Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates.
Global Fund has committed to support Eswatini with 807 million emalangeni for the next 3 years for HIV, malaria and TB elimination programs. The grant was announced by the acting Prime Minister, Senator Thuli Dlala.
The government of the Kingdom of Eswatini and the Global Fund has launched Grand Cycle 7 of 807 million emalangeni. The acting Prime Minister, Senator Kusile Dlala, launched the Grand Cycle.
Lembi lebesilwa nayo sinqobile sisatawunqoba futhi njengaloku namhla sibona na umsebenzi lomuhle lapho tihlobo tethu tisinika lenye insamba yetimali tekuthi ke nyalo sichubeke siqinise ema-health systems ethu. Live lethu la e-Afrika laba lokucala sikanye nelive langesheya ukuthi sifike kulo 95 lebekubheke ukuthi sifike kuye nga-2030 kepha thina sisheshe sefika ngenzaba yokuthi emakhosi ethu bekahamba nathi ayibika lenzaba athi yethu sonke nemaswati nawo agijima athi ngeke sicedwe kunawo umkhuhlane nawo sitawulwa nawo.
Mark Addington, who's the head of grant management at Global Fund, said they are willing to work with the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini on the improvement of the central medical stores.
We'd also like to continue to work with you on the ambition to transform and strengthen the central medical store operations. Let's be honest, we know there have been issues. We can't hide them, we can't sweep them under the carpet, but we are ready to work with you along with other partners to make sure that the management of health products and the delivery to the last mile is done in a sustainable and accountable and transparent manner.
Eswatini Country Coordinating Mechanism Chairperson spoke on behalf of CCM.
Every single member of the CCM has been capacitated to ensure that grant governance and oversight performs at its highest level.
The Kingdom of Eswatini, through the Acting Minister of Economic Planning, Manqoba Khumalo, together with the Global Fund team, signed the Cycle 7 grant agreement. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkasiwe Koza with Themba Shabangu, Eswatini.
The Honourable Minister of Health, Mduduzi Mathebula, says the Global Fund assistance has helped government to strengthen the health system. The minister was speaking during the launch of the 2024 to 2027 grant cycle by the Global Fund.
During the launch of the 2024 to 2027 grant cycle by the Global Fund, the Honourable Minister of Health, Mduduzi Mathebula, said Global Fund assistance has helped the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini to strengthen the health system.
Through the support from the Global Fund, the access to HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria services has been greatly improved and brought within reach of every Eswatini. This support has not only addressed immediate health needs, but has also laid the groundwork for systematic improvements in primary, secondary, and tertiary healthcare that will benefit generations to come. Through this generous funding, the Global Fund has supported a range of vital programs that have fortified our health systems.
Deepak Shah spoke on behalf of United Nations agencies in Eswatini.
The launch of the Global Fund Grant Cycle 7 marks the beginning of a new chapter in our collective fight against these diseases and the injustices that fuel them, reinforcing our shared commitment to fostering healthy lives and promoting well-being for all at all ages.
Making remarks on behalf of the CSOs, Abraham Jalinjali said, Global Fund assistance has changed so many lives through the provision of quality health care.
Together with our communities and realize how our lives have changed for the better
because of the Global Fund support to Eswatini in the fight against HIV, TB, and malaria. Acknowledging that HIV in Zabaytusonge has seen the spirit of working together with the government and partners towards the overarching goal of ending AIDS and fighting the other diseases.
Mark Eddington, who's the head of grant management at Global Fund, applauded the Kingdom of Eswatini's contribution to Global Fund. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Kusile with Themba Shabangu, Eswatini.
The Honourable Minister of Finance, Neil Reichenbach, says the Planning and Budgeting Committee has initiated consultations to shape a budget that reflects the aspirations of the people of Eswatini. The Minister made this statement in the House of Assembly while providing an update on the progress of the committee.
The Minister for Finance, Honourable Neil Reichenbach, announced that the Planning and Budgeting Committee has commenced consultations aimed at developing a national budget that truly reflects the aspirations of Eswatini.
The consultations will run from the 17th of September 2024 to the 4th of October 2024 as we start the preparation for the 2025-2026 budget. All meetings will be held at regional level, and prospects to take these consultations to Tinkunda level will be explored in due course. The purpose is to acknowledge and appreciate the current budget process and the structures that it goes through before it is endorsed, so that they can be in a position to make informed contributions. The expectation is that once these structures understand the process, they will discuss it at community level, and every Liswati will be enlightened on the budget process. At this stage, the consultations are certainly not for collecting submissions on what needs to be in the budget, but meant to sensitize and discuss on how best we can improve the process such that it is inclusive. This is to ensure and improve on budget transparency. However, we cannot avoid the fact that people will be tempted to make submissions on what they want to be in the budget.
Minister Reichenbach emphasized the importance of engaging citizens in the budget process, noting that this initiative marks a significant step towards inclusivity and transparency in government. For Eswatini TV News, Sondo Mlangeni, Samgal Suekozas, Kumbuzo Dlamini, Themba Shabangu, Parliament.
The first phase of the construction of the 4 billion Malangeni Manzini Arch Development Project by African Alliance will see 1,200 Maswati getting employment. Speaking during the commissioning of the project at the Manzini Golf Estate, the Minister for Commerce, Industry and Trade, Honourable Manxeba Khumalo, says the first phase is set to be completed in 24 months.
Government continues to create a public infrastructure that is essential for long-term economic growth and societal well-being. Today, the Minister for Commerce, Industry and Trade, Honourable Manxeba Khumalo, commissioned the Manzini Arch project by African Alliance at the Manzini Golf Course.
The Manzini Arch project represents a total investment of 4 billion emalangeni, a demonstration of African Alliance's unwavering commitment to fostering growth and development in our economy. As we embark on this first phase of this project, which is estimated to cost up to 1.6 billion emalangeni, we recognize the opportunities that lie ahead, not only for the economy, not only for the investor, but for the people of Manzini and beyond. This project will introduce exciting amenities to our community, including the first drive-through KFC in Manzini, a modern hotel, and a remarkable facility that will be a one-stop shop for government services that will be called the Jewel. This world-class building will house key government services, ensuring that citizens have access to essential resources in a convenient and efficient manner, and everything is found in one place.
Partner at the African Alliance, Tofeni Gininza, says they are committed to investing in the country's economy.
In our development, we don't do malls. We do cities, okay? We create a city in a city. That is why you'll see in the development that we have, our city Tolokpela that we have, a city covers everything. You'll see that when you go to Ezabeni, some of you may know where Parliament is, where we'll be also starting something there. It's a full development.
The minister says in 3 years, a new golf course will be completed so that those who love the sport will not be left in the cold. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Manzini.
The business community says the cut-off interest rates by the Central Bank of Eswatini from 7.5% to 7.25% will bring relief to the business sector by reducing the cost of capital. This was said by the Chief Executive Officer, Inati Dlamini, during an interview.
Companies under Business Eswatini contribute over 90% of the private sector gross domestic product, making the organization one of the key drivers of the economy. Over 100,000 Emaswati are employed by these companies. The business community says the recent interest rate cuts by the Central Bank of Eswatini will play a major part in boosting the performance of the private sector.
We think it's going to go a long way, especially on companies that are borrowing money to expand their businesses. It's going to cut their costs, and therefore the cost of capital is supposed to come down marginally by the 0.25%. We welcome that, especially at a time when we're getting closer to the Christmas shopping season, but also the access to credit by companies means more jobs will be created by it. You will also note that the report that we just issued recently, credit extension to the corporate sector, has grown in leaps and bounds by 4.9%, actually, if you look at the quarter in 2023 to 2024. To me, that's a healthy increase, which means now the private sector is back again producing. We are also noting that it means more money also for consumers going to the Christmas season, obviously. Disposable incomes will feed into the GDP growth of this country, which we definitely need. And we are very, very pleased, actually, from where we are sitting, that the GDP performance of this country as we speak now in 2024 is pegged at 4.2%. I dare say this will maybe they are one of the highest GDP performing countries in the SADC region at 4.2.
In addition to the interest rate cut to 7.25% from 7.5%, the Central Bank of Eswatini cut the prime lending rate on loans extended to individuals and businesses from 11% to 10.75%. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
In international news, Ukraine's air defenses battled an overnight Russian aerial attack on the capital Kyiv for 5 hours, officials said, as missiles and drones again hammered the Ukrainian power grid.
For 5 hours, Kyiv was under fire. Sirens blared and drones exploded in the night as Russia targeted key infrastructure in the capital, damaging cars and buildings in the process. As this woman swept up the debris on her doorstep, she was thankful to be unharmed.
A miracle happened today. I normally take the dogs out at 6 a.m., but today I overslept. I woke up and wanted to make myself some coffee, and then it happened. I went out and saw the house on fire. I took my 3 dogs and we went to the shelter.
According to the United Nations, Russia's attacks on Ukraine's energy network have knocked out some 70% of its capacity, prompting fears of a cold, troublesome winter for Ukrainians. And it is a tactic Russia appears to be doubling down on. In this city in Ukraine's west, backup generators were required on Thursday morning after attacks on the region's power grid left whole streets without electricity. And in the southern town of Zaporizhzhia, where a nuclear power plant is based, several people were injured when their homes were reduced to rubble.
At first, there was a powerful explosion. Our dog is afraid of explosions, so I ran after him. If I hadn't run outside, nothing would have been left of me. The ambulance wanted to take me to the hospital, but I didn't want to. My head was smashed. My back was covered in blood.
Ukraine's Air Force said it shot down 4 out of 6 missiles and 66 out of 78 drones launched by Russia overnight. But their defence systems were still not enough to prevent the damage.
Zimbabwean authorities are hoping tourism will help revive the ailing economy as one government official cites new figures that show more tourists are visiting Victoria Falls. But critics say the country's poor infrastructure is preventing the site from realizing its full potential.
Even though water levels at Victoria Falls on the border of Zimbabwe and Zambia are lower than usual, tourists like Sarah are still visiting in large numbers.
I am impressed, to be honest. I've been enjoying too much the country and the culture, and also obviously this site, Victoria Falls, is wonderful.
She wants to return one day like Simon, who is from Zimbabwe but now lives in the UK.
Yeah, I returned to come see Victoria Falls as an experience because when I was young I never really got to see it. So last year I came, and this year I brought my friend from the UK to come actually have a view of the great Zambezi and Victoria Falls here, which we are experiencing, and it's very nice, very beautiful.
But the country's international reputation suffers from what the US State Department describes as credible reports of human rights abuses, including unlawful or arbitrary killings, harsh and life-threatening prison conditions, and restrictions on free expression and media. Economist Gift Mgano says these government practices negatively impact tourism.
That is not good for our brand equity. And so as long as we are doing that, we don't get as much arrival as possible, because we earn a bad name as a country. On hardware issues, we need to work on an infrastructure, our roads, our water supplies, our electricity.
Even so, government statistics show the tourism sector had receipts of $493 million in the first half of this year, compared to $398 million same period in 2023, and tourist leaders hope for continued growth.
The government has embarked on an emergency road rehabilitation program, and some other major roads have started getting attention. Our roads shall also get attention in due course. We are not too much worried about that because our airports have been rehabilitated, because also the fact that most of our tourists come from outside the country means that the state of the roads does not completely damage the image of tourism or the numbers that are going to come through into the country.
Mukwasi added that the number of tourists visiting Zimbabwe has been rising since the end of COVID pandemic, and that arrivals were up by 27% in the first half of this year over the same period last year, according to Zimbabwe's Minister of Tourism. He hopes that in future the sector will rival agriculture, manufacturing and mining as a driver of the economy.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris said on Thursday that proposals that would give up large parts of Ukraine's sovereign territory are proposals for surrender, not peace.
Well, President Zelensky, it is good to see you again. This is our 7th visit together, and welcome back to Washington, D.C. As I have made clear on our 6 previous meetings and throughout Putin's brutal aggression and war against Ukraine, my support for the people of Ukraine is unwavering. I've been proud to stand with Ukraine. I will continue to stand with Ukraine. The United States cannot and should not isolate ourselves from the rest of the world. Isolation is not insulation. So then, the United States supports Ukraine not out of charity, but because it is in our strategic interest. Nothing about the end of this war can be decided without Ukraine. However, in candor, I share with you, Mr. President, there are some in my country who would instead force Ukraine to give up large parts of its sovereign territory, who would demand that Ukraine accept neutrality and would require Ukraine to forego security relationships with other nations. These proposals are the same of those of Putin. And let us be clear, they are not proposals for peace. Instead, they are proposals for surrender.
In our sports news, on behalf of His Majesty King Mswati III, Honorable Prime Minister and the entire Kingdom of Eswatini, Acting Prime Minister Honorable Senator Tuli Ladla has welcomed Commonwealth Games Federation President Chris Jenkins and his delegation ahead of the delegation's first ever board meeting on African continent scheduled here in the Kingdom today.
From His Majesty's mouth, feel at home, and he welcomes you with all his heart and strength, and that he is over the moon that you will be having your first board meeting outside the UK in Eswatini. So we're really privileged as a country. And again, we'd like to thank our president and the board members, our minister, our PS, for the role that they're playing in ensuring that they had to bring you together and you come to the Kingdom.
It's 27 minutes after 7, and that's it for our English Bulletin. Thank you for staying with us. We'll go for an ad break. Sabia Konamanja.
Kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle kwalesi
aba research bafunze.
Being risky means ukuthi nalokuwa kwayo kulula.
Nathi kufuna sende ukukhicita lokusemndeni.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m, where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Ukubhadala umthelo kuyinto lenhle nalefanele, kodwa ke imigomo nemibanzela ekubhadala wona ke umthelo ingaba lukhuni kuyiconza kulabo ke lababhadala ke umthelo nalabo ke labawubhadalisako kufike ke esigabeni lapho kungasavunyelwana khona. Ungabe unayo ke indzaba lethingeke kukhulunyiswa lethinza ke umthelo wakho lapho ungasaboni ngaliso linye naloyo ke lokubhadalisa ke umthelo. Hlanganyela nathi ke lihlelweni embili kanye njalo ngelisonto ngensimbi yesithupha kusihlwa lapho khona ke inkampani iEswatini Revenue Appeals Tribunal lokuliphiko lahulumende ngaphasi ke kwelitiko ke letemafa lolubuke dona tindzaba tekucatulula lapho kungasabonwa ngaliso linye emkhathisini wemtheli nemthelisi. Kulolu hlelo lenkampani itabe ichazela eMaswati ukuthi sifakwa njani ke sicelo lapho khona ke ufisa ke kusitakala uma ungasaboni ngeliso linye naloyo ke lokuthelisako. Letindzaba leti sitabe sikhulumisa ke lihlelweni embili kanye kusukela mhla 13 enyangeni yendle kulo mnyaka losetulu kuya ke kumhla tinge-27 enyangeni yembala kuwo lo mnyaka. Luhlelo embili kanye lingena ngensimbi yesithupha kusihlwa njalo ngelisonto kanti ungaphinde ulibukele ke ku-YouTube channel yethu @Eswatini TV.
As the saying goes, education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom. Great news for the learners. Eswatini TV brings back the home learning with a wide range of subjects for the grade 7s, Form 3s and Form 5s from the safety of their home.
Change in speed and there's no change in wavelength, meaning that the wavelength of the incident wavefronts.
Watch home learning every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Eswatini TV. Sibuko seMaswati.
Welcome back to the program, Kusile Breakfast Show Friday edition. Thank you for staying with us. Let's talk about cybersecurity now, something that has become a critical conversation for every nation as we increasingly move into the digital age. Eswatini is no exception. And this October, the Eswatini Communications Commission is spearheading an important campaign to raise awareness through Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Today, Polisi Dlamini joins me in studio, the cybersecurity officer from the Eswatini Communications Commission. We want to unpack what the month is about, its impact, as well as the key themes driving this initiative. Polisi, welcome to the program. Let's start with the bigger picture. Cybersecurity Awareness Month. What is it? What is this?
Thank you so much, and I'd like to say greetings to all our viewers, and thank you for having us this Friday. Indeed, it's a big question that we need to unpack. Basically, Cybersecurity Awareness Month is an initiative that is a global initiative that is commemorated annually to bring about change in terms of how people interact or how people deal with matters of cyber. You know, you'll be aware that the cyberspace is a vast space that we get to explore. So the initiative in terms of the Awareness Month just brings about sort of like a culture change. It brings about awareness, raising awareness to the public and also to organizations about matters of cybersecurity.
Yeah, let's talk about the theme, Asiphepheni, Secure Our World.
Yes.
What does this mean in practical terms? You speak about cybersecurity as being this wide, far-reaching, overarching thing. What does this mean in practical terms as it applies to individuals and businesses alike?
Yes. Yeah, so the theme is taken from the global theme, which is Secure Our World, and then we coined it to Asiphepheni Maswati, meaning it is everybody's responsibility to create a safe space. It starts with you creating a safe space for your digital space or your digital world. It brings about creation of responsible digital citizens, so that we have a digital space that is safer for Maswati onge, not only at a personal space, but sitting as Pepe and Maswati, also at organizational level as well as individual level. So we are saying as Pepe within that digital space, let's have a safe cyberspace.
Yeah.
Yes.
What can we expect on the day of the launch for this particular month, October 2024, Cybersecurity Awareness Month? Just take us through, the place, where it's going to be, and what is going to be ongoing there.
Okay. So the Awareness Month this year is going to be commemorated on the 1st of October.
Okay.
I think you'll recall in a number of our listeners and professionals within the cybersecurity, we usually had it in November, but we have now aligned to the international community, and we will be having that awareness launch on the 1st of October at the Royal Villas.
Tuesday.
On Tuesday,
yeah.
Yes. And the program is quite, inclusive. There's a number of activities and a number of dignitaries that we are expecting to be there.
Yeah.
Part of the program is a panel discussion that will be represented, which will have a number of representatives from different societies. We have the civil society, we have a representative from the RAPS, we have a representative from the Ministry of ICT within that panel discussion, but we also have a representative, from the Children's Consortium. As you might be aware, we are also talking matters of child online protection or child online safety. So yes, we will have a panel discussion and a number of other initiatives or items within the program, including entertainment, as well as, audiences will have a chance to ask some critical questions.
Yeah.
And those questions we normally have that we normally get as we do these awarenesses, because it's just not only in the month of October, but this awareness runs throughout the year. It's just that in October we focus, bringing a bigger and a larger awareness. Yeah. So the audience will have a chance, and I think one of the biggest questions that we normally have is around the Act itself, the Computer Crime and the Cybercrime Act of 2022. Yes.
Let's get into the heart of the panel discussions.
Yes.
You're mentioning quite, a melange of stakeholders that you work with there, and making sure that as you cover this critical topic, we are all aligned in that it is effective.
Yes.
What are the topics going to be within this panel discussions? Of course, I can already preempt the one around making sure that our children are protected and making sure that we do that to its most, efficacy. What are some of the key topics that will be covered and who will be part of these discussions? Is it only, these people you have highlighted?
So within that panel discussion, because we'll only have one session, that is a panel discussion session, and the topic will be cybersecurity through Eswatini's lens. And we are expecting that these experts that we have earmarked from the different entities that I've just mentioned, they will be dissecting it in the way they see it, as we have a host of representatives, and we tried to bring a mix, as we have civil society, we have the Children's Consortium. So it's going to be an interesting discussion, and we're eager, to actually hear what the experts have to say about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm also looking forward to hearing, what the conversations are going to be about. We've seen, quite the frightening pace of, some cybercrime within recent time. And I believe, was it last year, with the Royal Eswatini Police Service, and they were just speaking of some of the statistics that they managed to collect. Really, really alarming numbers. But we really appreciate the work that you guys are doing in making sure that people are sensitized and that we fix this emerging problem. You spoke about having school children there as well as part of the audience. Let's talk about, how the audience will have the opportunity to engage with some of, what I would call Laboson Vonzima and these people that, have expert knowledge, because I suppose that kind of communication with the audience becomes very critical.
Yes. So, as I'd alluded earlier on, the audience will have an opportunity to actually ask questions, and besides just the panel discussion that will be there, we will also have an expert that will showcase a real life example of, being hacked in the financial space, and also perhaps also in your social media space. We've done it in the past where the expert actually took over a Facebook account. So that will also bring, some kind of enlightenment to the leaders.
Is that the Eswatini Observer?
No, not that one, sir. Yes. No, this one was just basically a white hacking that was just initiated for that specific audience. So we will also have something similar. And yes, the discussion or the questions will be asked by the audience around all the matters that will be discussed, and we'll have, experts to actually answer each of those questions that will be asked by those audiences.
How are you keeping the momentum going outside of the launch itself? Because you speak about October, it's a long month, but even pre-October, today is a Friday, we are still in September. I suppose we are building up that momentum for what is said to be quite an important initiative. What are some of the other activities or initiatives that you have lined up throughout the month?
Okay, so kicking it off, we just had a session with St. Teresa's yesterday. That's the beautiful session that we just had with the pupils there down at St. Teresa. So all of the weeks, I think it's a 5-week month, October this year, and every week is actually themed specifically, to the different target audience. We're speaking about child online safety on the 3rd week. We're speaking your words actually matter. So be careful what you say online. We're speaking to the consumers in terms of how you are supposed to be safe online. We're also speaking to workers, how you work, or the things that you need to be aware of while you work from home. Because post-COVID, yes, we've gone back to work, but there's still elements of us working from home, because the digital space, a lot of us are still working from home. So it is themed, but also the different activities that we'll have is we'll be visiting schools across the country. So we are earmarking 4 schools that we will visit across the country. We will have a webinar for businesses, and it's going to be free for the businesses. We are also having a joint partnership with the United States Embassy, who will be actually capacitating some of our technical people across the country in terms of cyber readiness. We will also be having a CEO's breakfast where we will be talking to the leaders, about matters cybersecurity. And you might be aware, a lot of people think that cybersecurity is just an IT thing. No, it's a business thing. So we need to really, bring aboard, the decision makers and the people that actually assist us in the controlling, stakeholders. We'll also have a free training, online training that will be for every Leswati that is possible, that will be able to actually access these courses. We have approximately 6 courses that will talk from ethical hacking to cybersecurity essentials to cybersecurity, introduction to cybersecurity, and this is in partnership with SIMPA. So these will actually run for a period of a month, 2, and they will be examinable, so people will be getting certificates, and all these are free during the month of October leading into November.
I'm picking that you have quite the partnerships with this particular initiative. How crucial is this, making sure that you have, quite a melange of partnerships?
Yeah. Okay, so cybersecurity is actually a shared responsibility. Whatever one click that a user can do in a corporation or in an organization can actually affect the entire organization. So we understand from the cert in terms of cybersecurity that being a shared responsibility is not just a ESCOM matter as the National Cybersecurity Agency or the CERT matter. It's actually a matter for all people, all people within Eswatini. Emaswati onke fanele andlale inzima yawo. So yes, we've gone out and we are fortunate that we have actually, gotten a number of partnerships. And one, I think that was in the local media, was the one that we just sealed with UNESCO. And as I've also mentioned, with the United States Embassy. Yes, so we are actually in that line of saying it is a shared responsibility. We are calling all partners to actually come and let's hold hands in making sure that we create a safe digital space for Eswatini.
I do want more detail on the UNESCO one because it has been cited as a strategic or significant partner, without perhaps, undermining the other partnerships. But UNESCO seems to have quite the significance as a partner. Can you tell us more about the nature of these partnerships and how long it's been running?
Okay, so the UNESCO partnership with ESCOM just was recently launched, I think about a week or 2 ago. And they've come in at, I don't think it would have been even a better time as this one, because they've come in to say, you know what, let's go to all the schools, over 20 schools in Eswatini, and let's talk matters of cybersecurity. So the partnership is strengthening the same goal that ESCOM has always had, to say, here is the cybersecurity or the Computer Crime and Cybercrime Act. And it talks about matters, Section 17 talks about cyberbullying and cyberstalking. And what we are saying as we're doing the awarenesses, and this is where UNESCO has said we want to ensure that we give you strength and we want to give you more mileage, is that let's take this matter of cybersecurity or cyberbullying to the kids. A lot of our young ones, adolescents and young people, are actually cyberbullying each other without even knowing. And we've seen in media reports of, kids bullying each other. It's no longer just kubita umuntu ngehloko liphopho and that's it at school, but cyberbullying now goes home. While ucabanga ukuthi umfana is just studying in the bedroom, he's bullying someone, or he or she is being bullied by someone. So yes, on the internet. So, and the thing about it is that a number of us, parents, inclusive, teachers, educators, administrators, they're actually the ones that see this kind of bullying. So this partnership comes to say, let's go and teach the teachers, let's go and empower the teachers, let's go and empower the parents, let's go in and teach the children the repercussions of cyberbullying and what are the consequences that they might face if they bully someone.
Kids being a key population. True. And we see it. We see it every day.
It's bad. It's
depression,
bad.
Everything. The ripple effect is far severe than one may even comprehend from a mere surface level. Let's talk about cybercrime more broadly. The types of common cybercrimes that we see in Eswatini that are being reported.
Okay. I think about 2 weeks ago, both newspapers covered a specific landmark for the Computer Crime and Cybercrime Act, where a magistrate used the act to actually, penalize a person that had actually committed an offense. We might take it light, but one of the offenses that happens within Eswatini is the illegal access. And we normally speak about it because illegal access, basically by definition, it's a computer system, so inclusive of your phone. So if your partner, without your permission, accesses your phone, that is deemed as an offense. But it also goes a step further. We've got in the social media spaces, in the Facebook space with particular emphasis, we see a page, ladies' house. We see men's house. Those are just places where people are committing offenses because by definition,
popcorn room, I've seen those.
That one, yes, popcorn room, thank
Yeah,
you.
I've seen that.
That one just speaks to cyberbullying because by definition within the act, cyberbullying is any harassment, you know, and any intimidation that you might cause to a person or harm that you might cause to a person. So kufaka nje sithombe sasifisa ukuthi anengitshele bosisi ukuthi ngabe nilatela pledjale, you've already now acted within this, you know, you've already committed an offense. But then the act goes a step further to say if you now abate and, you know, also abating meaning you now like that post, you share that post, you have now partaken in it. So eMaswati are now becoming aware of these offenses and coming forward to actually report them. So there is now traction in terms of reporting of these kind of offenses.
It's an important act. It really is an important act. We've seen so many people being defamed online, you know, unfoundedly so. And it has been, you know, quite the movie to watch, you know, really, really sad. I wonder though, besides just, you know, the pages that I would say hide in anonymity. We don't know the administrators of these pages, but we do see on X, formerly known as Twitter, the Musa Kaulas of this world, the Chris Excels of this world, who, you know, masquerades as our own Bianca Costa, who has since taken it, you know, even to social media and podcasts to say she has been depressed because this guy uses, you know, her face to spew very, very, you know, insensitive things. Does that also, you know, account to this act?
Oh, yes. Yes, it does. The act actually covers approximately, it's 28 offenses. And part of those is the one that you're just talking about. There's also harassment, there's cyber terrorism, there's racism, there's cyberbullying, there's cyber stalking, there's child pornography. You know, there's a number of, you know, of offenses that are actually listed within that one. And that one is actually an interesting case that you talk about, and one that we will be making a follow-up and assisting. You know, that's the whole point of having the cert, is to assist in such matters. So yes, that is an offense to actually use someone's picture as your own. Yes, on social media.
They've called it catfishing. They've called it so many names, masquerading as, you know, something that you aren't really. My question then becomes, because it's not just Bianca Costa, the one that we know. It's a lot of people who are being, you know, offended in this regard. But perhaps to close or to cap it off, let's get into. There's always a financial toll when it comes to cybercrime. And I believe that has been one of the biggest conversations. You know, I believe the Eswatini Police Service has also come in. Some local banks, commercial banks have also come in to, you know, try and stop this one. How much has Eswatini lost to cybercrime in recent years, and what measures are in place to prevent further damage or further losses?
In 2022, the country lost 177 million. In 2023...
Please say that again. I can't fathom that.
177 million was lost by Eswatini in 2022.
Oh my goodness.
In 2023...
That's a year alone.
That's just 1 year. In 2023, 8.1 million was lost by Eswatini. And this doesn't account for the mobile scams that we experience on a daily. Because last year alone, we were sitting at 1.9 million in terms of mobile wallet scams that we experience, excluding the mobile bank wallets, the reversals and stuff like that, that is accounted by the Bankers Association. But in terms of the mobile wallet scams, that is 1.9 million. In terms of business, you know, other frauds, particularly your business email compromise, was sitting at 8.1 million. We are still yet to get more statistics this year, but it's really scary and it's really disheartening that there's a lot of money that is being exploited off Eswatini. And this is just monies that have been reported. People are not reporting, people are not coming forward because perhaps they are afraid to actually report such matters.
Yeah, the numbers that you are pronouncing are very alarming to me. it's a lot of money. But I do also realize that the numbers decrease by the years.
Yes, yes.
I suppose this is part of the awareness months, you know, even further across the months themselves. The awareness is, you know, broader every day. There should be some sort of awareness that we try to make. You know, I suppose it speaks to the importance of this particular initiative.
Yes.
How important is our participation as a people? You know, just our keenness, but also the how do I phrase this? Security. No pun intended. We have passwords. There's two-factor authentication, whatever those things are called. You know, that kind of awareness. Some people are just fine with having the same password across 3 or 13 platforms.
Yes, yes.
It's dangerous.
It's very dangerous. It's just that people we take it light in matters of cybersecurity. One of the things that we've seen whilst we go, because as the Commission, we've visited to date over 38 companies since our new financial year. That's April. And one of the things that we're picking up is that, one, is the same thing that you're saying, issues of not changing password. And I pose this question to the nation. When was the last time you changed your online banking password? When was the last time you changed your Momo or Imali wallet?
How often should you change?
You should change it as often as you change your toothbrush.
Wow. Okay.
Because imagine, and this is what we're finding. We find that people have the same password for their FNB, their Netbank, their Standard Bank, and probably that password is the same for their social media. Now imagine the risk that you have actually opened up. Now, coming to the question that you asked, that what is our role as Eswatini? What is the role as you individually? It takes one person or one pillar to actually bring down the entire country. You can bring down, you know, Eswatini TV, which can then cascade to your other partners, and it could go as far as, you know, the entire country being down. So it is a shared responsibility. You just updating your password, you changing your password as often as possible, you updating your software on your mobile device and your laptop and your tablet and your iPad is important, as, you know, making sure that the digital space we have in Eswatini is secure.
Perhaps on a more personal question, this is, I'm being selfish, but I'm sure someone else will be helped, and that's the joy of being a journalist. This feature that iOS devices have, I'm not sure if, you know, Android devices have it now.
Yes.
Of having all your passwords saved as in your settings. Is this feature that, you know,
the password manager.
Yeah, the password manager.
Yes.
Just by maybe a Face ID, you can access all my passwords.
Yes, yes.
How safe are those? Should I really, because there's also the danger of forgetting your password, I suppose, but that also, you can salvage that by, I don't know, forgetting your PIN option, whatever it is that people can do for that. But these features, would you advise that we use these features?
Well, yes. We would advise, so long as you get credible, a credible application that you will use for your software or your password manager.
Okay.
That is the first step. But what we also say is that add another layer of security. When you go home or to your apartment, the first thing that you meet is a gate. You enter the gate or you have an access to the gate. Then the second layer is probably a burglar door. You open the burglar door, and then the third layer is actually the door itself. So now when it comes to the digital space, what we're saying when you're talking about multi-factor authentication is that you may have the password manager, that is fine, but add another layer of security within that application. For instance, within when you open your phone, the first thing you should use is probably a password into your phone. Also into your WhatsApp, there must be another key for your WhatsApp. There must also not be a multi-factor. Facebook has multi-factor authentication. All these different social media pages, they have multi-authentication. So you may have the password manager, as you say, but also add that OTP kind of layer to say, now I'm accessing it, you know. And these applications normally have these settings with you know, enabled, or you need to enable them.
Yes.
Police
Dlamini, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, that is Police Dlamini. He is the cyber security officer ngaphansi kwemlawuli weTekuxhumana iEscom. Critical conversation that we've just had. We hope that, you know, perhaps let me go back to Police 1 second, if you will allow me. This year, we haven't collected the statistics as to how much we've lost, right?
Yes. Currently, we have the mobile wallets statistics, and they're not looking good as well. We saw an increase.
Have we hit the million mark?
We are almost at the million mark. We are almost, and it's an increase of about 4% in the first quarter if you're comparing quarter to quarter last year. Yes.
Well, I wanted to ask this particular question to sort of, sensitize you as to why this conversation is critical. Perhaps you haven't been a victim yet, but maybe you haven't changed your passwords. Maybe you haven't, made sure that you have at least 4 doors into that manager that you have for your passwords. It has become very, very incumbent upon you to make sure that you heed to all the advice that he has given us. Let's go for a net break. We'll be back shortly.
Asambege, the show that pushes local celebrities out of their comfort zones and into uncharted territories. Get ready to witness the ultimate clash of skills, the battle of the unknown, and the test of celebrity mettle. Can they cook up a storm in the kitchen? Can they hit the high notes on stage? We're taking them out of their element and throwing them into the deep end. Don't miss the fun, the drama, and the surprises. Asambege.
A show where we interview inspirational young professionals who are making a real impact in their industries and reshaping our world. This is Young Climber.
My dream and my mission is to be a tangible example of a dream realized. You don't choose where you are born, of course, but you decide where you end up.
Our conversations spark ideas, fuel ambition, and elevate your career path. These are the stories that change your perspective on life, conversations that shape entrepreneurs and move careers forward. If you are serious about your career development, you can't afford to miss this show. Join me, Tabelo Dlamini, every Tuesday at 6:30 for Young Climber, where every episode could be your next big breakthrough.
Yeah, selemizuzu lemithafu futhi kushaya insimbi esiphohlongo sibanga ukuthi nikethe kuvuka nathi lo mhla ekseni. We have come to the end of our program lomuhla. Ngathi mawusanza ukusivulela ungakhathazeki usengakhona ukusivulela usibukele ekhasini lethu la ka YouTube Eswatini TV. Sasema ukuthi ukuthathe konke lokuvile lomuhla kakhulu kade lebalekile. Pay your TV license. 31st December is the deadline. Mase sengakabhadali yena siqiniseke ukuthi ulungisa imali uyabhadala.
Ya ngoba naloku sibukela mahala nje kufuna salo abantu bakuyekela ucanga ukuthi ungabukela 12 mahala ungubani wena ungabukela lokelele bani cha bonke sikudlala nje ngoba nakuvele sisingena kuyo imphela sonto kodwa siyagcizelela ukuthi abantu ababhadale ema TV license abo ngale kwaloko sifiso 12 kujuluka emgadleleni uyanivalelisa bonke.
Next on Gospel Impact.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Wycliffe lights up the stage with his music ministry.
Done on earth as it is in heaven.
And Zanele Pearl takes us to the throne of grace through worship.